What's up, guys? My name is Moo. I'm a college student who loves reading, and I'm here to share that love with all of you. There's not much of an intro today. I don't have much to say, so we'll get straight into it. The book we are reviewing today is Does My Head Look Big in This by Randa Abdel Fattah. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. I know a part of this story is that the main character, no one knows how to pronounce her name, so I understand the irony of that situation. So if I pronounced it wrong, I am sorry, but I really liked your book. So as the title and the cover may suggest, this is a young adult novel following a Muslim girl. She is an Australian-born Muslim, and this book is about her journey through school and her journey through faith as she starts wearing a hijab for the first time in public at all times. We will start, of course, by reading the summary. High school is tough enough without throwing a hijab into the mix. In Randa Abdel Fattah's brilliant debut novel, Amal, an Australian-Palestinian girl living in a suburb of Melbourne, makes the biggest decision of her life, to wear the hijab, the Muslim headscarf, full-time. In spite of her parents' gentle warnings and the ostracizing that is sure to come from the other kids at her snobby prep school, Amal's decision springs from a deep sense of faith, and she is certain, well, almost certain, that she's ready to take this step. But can she handle the taunts of Towelhead, navigate the wilds of a mad crush, and stay true to herself? Amal is sassy, intelligent, sensitive, and hilarious, and her journey of faith will take readers down an unexpected and very entertaining path. I gotta say, the summary's pretty accurate. I had a good time reading it. I really enjoyed this book. So, before we get into the book, I will just give a brief disclaimer. I am not Muslim. In fact, I am Christian. I do not know too much about the religion in depth. I did a little bit of research outside of this book, but most of my information on Islam comes mostly from this book because I just have never researched it. I'm going to try my best to be as accurate as possible, but I know that I am not an expert on this topic, so I am not the right person to go to learn about this stuff. I'm just talking about this book and what I liked about it and what I learned from it. I'm reviewing a book. I'm not teaching about Islam. So that is my disclaimer. For this book, I did try to dress a little more modestly, but then I went to my closet and I realized I don't have a lot of modest clothes, so hopefully this is okay. But yes, let's just get into the book, shall we? So before we get into the story, there were a couple parts of this book that I found funny that have nothing to do with the story, and I will just go over those really fast. The first one is I was trying to figure out when this book was published, and on the publishing page, where it says right away there's the year that it was published, this one just has a long paragraph about how if the cover is gone, the book is stolen, and this whole thing, and I'm like, I don't need a life story, I just need to know what year this was first published. And it was published in 2005. But it took me a long time to find it. It was basically just screaming at me, if there's no cover on this book was stolen, okay? Do you got it? It was stolen. You have stolen property right now. And I was just like, it has a cover. I'm okay. I felt like I was being yelled at by a book. The other thing is the About the Author page. You could tell that she was funny through her writing of the story, but also her About the Author page was nice. I liked the way that she described herself. She describes herself as an Australian-born Muslim, Palestinian, Egyptian chocoholic. And I just think every single one of those identities are extremely important. I too am an avid chocoholic. Cannot get enough. Chocolate cream cold brew right here. I'm with you on there. I love it. But that was the two parts that were not in the story that I thought were a little bit entertaining. I was entertained before I even started reading the book. So this book is about a Muslim girl, but it's also a coming of age novel written in the 2000s. And you can tell it was written in the 2000s. I really like this book. I think it was well written. I think that it taught a lot. I think that it was just an enjoyable story. However, it is very of its time. The amount of talk about diet culture really was not my favorite. I really hated it, and that's not the author's fault. It was how the time was, but oh my gosh, I was so upset with the diet culture because you guys don't know what you're talking about, and I am someone who is really conscious of what I eat and my nutrition and all that. So it just didn't sit right with me because I'm like, that's not how you lose weight and get well and become healthy. And it was of its time, and that was not fun. That was not a fun time. But besides that, I liked everything about the book. Hudson, why are you yelling? My cats are deciding to yell while I'm filming. That's very nice of them. So this story is very simple. This story is very straightforward. It's Amal navigating her way through high school as she decides to wear a hijab during the time. It is very coming of age. There's a lot of elements that are coming of age, except it's from the perspective of a Muslim girl, which is something that even to this day we don't have a lot of. So the fact that this was written and published in 2005, right after the events that happened in America, because this was set in 2002, I think is really good. It was a really good time to release this book because unfortunately it needed to be a time where the people of this religion needed to be humanized, and the fact that they weren't humanized for so long and still aren't to an extent to this day is so upsetting. But this book humanized a group of people that the world was against at this time. Amal is funny and quirky and just a regular teenage girl. She just happens to be Muslim. Her thoughts are very similar to everyone else's thoughts at that age. She is just a regular teenage girl. I like that this book was written like a diary or a note to a friend or something like that. It was very casual. It was very perky and happy. It was just very sweet. It was very cute. I loved the whole thing. I read it so fast. While the story is what you would expect from a coming-of-age novel, it also touches on a lot of topics that a Muslim girl would have to go through while growing up in a country like Australia in the 2000s. There's a mean girl who picks on her every day, and it's not just her, it's a lot of people, but she targets her Muslim traits and the stereotypes that are used against Muslims. She asks her extremely inappropriate questions, and it makes her really uncomfortable. Usually she has a comeback, but sometimes it hurts so much that she is speechless and she can't say anything at all. It's just heartbreaking to see. There was one thing that stood out to me where there was a terrorist attack in a different country in 2002, and because there were Australians that were injured and killed, a classmate of Amal's came up to her and said, "Hey, can you speak on this to say this and that about Muslim culture and don't worry and all that?" Basically, she asks Amal to do a speech and how it is not reflective of all Muslims or whatever, and she responds saying, "Oh, you're Christian, right?" well, I'll give the speech if you give a speech about the Ku Klux Klan, because they were really religious, so obviously what they did was textbook Christianity, right? It shows the holes that people have, the lack of understanding. The Quran is not telling these people to be terrorists. In fact, Islam is a very peaceful religion. So the fact that people judge the whole religion on a violent terrorist group, it says so much. You wouldn't judge all of Christianity based on the Ku Klux Klan, would you? There are parts of both religions that I don't agree with. I know in Christianity specifically, there's a lot that I feel like people are preaching that is not from the Bible, and that can definitely be said about the Quran or the Quran. Oh no, I've been saying it wrong. I am so sorry. The Quran. Oh my gosh, that was a goof on my part. I am so sorry. Anyways, the Quran is not teaching these people to be violent, but they're still violent. And that's not the religion's fault. Christianity is a very loving religion. Islam's a very peaceful religion. They teach a lot of the same things. It overlaps a lot. I mean, Muslims believe in Jesus. They don't believe he was the Son of God, but they believe in Jesus. There's so many things that overlap. They teach so much of the same thing. They're beneficial to so many people, and yet so many people see both religions as a judgmental, hateful, violent religion, and it's just upsetting because there are so many people that benefit from religion, and it is upsetting that people's outer views of these religions are so negative, because there are positive aspects in both. I believe religion is an overwhelmingly positive thing. It's just when people take the religion and use it to spread hate or judgment or anything like that, it does more harm than good, and that's extremely upsetting. One thing I did learn from this is that women choose to wear the hijab to profess their faith to the world and show God their dedication to their faith, to become modest for God, everything like that. I didn't realize it was a choice, and that was an ignorance of mine. I know in parts of the world it probably isn't as much of a choice, especially since there are parts in the world where women don't get a choice in a lot, and that's not specific to any one religion, but sometimes religion is used to oppress others, so it could be a part of it, and that can be said for any religion, not just Islam. I don't want to be speaking super negatively on any one religion, because again, I think that religion in general is more positive than anything, but for a lot of people, the hijab is a statement of your dedication to your God and your faith, and I think that's very beautiful. I'm going to look at people who wear hijabs in a different way now, because while I never saw them negatively, I'm going to see them a lot more positively now. It's more of a going from neutral to positive, because I respect your dedication to your faith, and I think that's really cool that you have chosen to wear that to show the world this is your faith, this is what you believe in, and be proud about it. Overall, this book made me stronger in my own faith. It was nice seeing someone near my age so strong in her faith, even though it was different beliefs than mine. And because we believe in so many of the same things and we have such similar stories and similar people, I have reason to believe that there's truth to a lot of what I have been taught, and it has created a space where I'm stronger in my own faith because I took the time to explore someone else's. I think it's good to go outside of your bubble. It's good to learn about other people. The best way you can do that is talk to other people, and it's not their job to teach you, and you should be aware of that. But the best way to learn about others is to talk to other people. If not, read a book like this, where it is a story about someone from the perspective that could be different from yours. I learned so much in just this book. I'm really glad that I read it. It's good to go outside of our little bubble of what we know and explore the world through culture, food, language, books like this, just anything. I think that it's really fun to explore the world through books, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video too, because I really enjoyed this book. I would recommend this book to anyone who likes coming of age stories, especially from the 2000s, because it's very reminiscent of the 2000s. If you like any of those coming of age movies or books or anything like that, you should read it. If you want to explore a different culture from a different perspective, you should do that. But also, if you are Muslim, I would give this book a read, because it was written by a really cool person who's obviously extremely funny, and she wrote an amazing book. So I think no matter if you are Muslim or not, if you like the type of book that's a coming of age book, I think you should read it. But that's all I have for today. If you liked this video, make sure to like it. Comment down below what book has taught you the most about another culture, and subscribe if you like my content. I upload every Thursday. I'm going on a cruise next week and I'm still uploading. The grind never stops. But yes, I don't have anything else to say, so without further ado, this has been Moo. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye!